And talking of living side by side in peace, Iraq, obviously there have been great mistakes over the last 2 years and things haven't gone as you would have wished or expected. But do you think that this is a turning point we had with the elections in Iraq?
I would think about it a little differently. I think that the Iraqi people were liberated by the coalition. Saddam Hussein was overthrown, but the Iraqi people had to take control of their own future. And on Sunday, they really signaled that they are ready to do that. They signaled that they understand that freedom does not come free. They demonstrated tremendous bravery and courage, despite the threats against them to go and vote. Their security forces performed well in supporting that vote. We need now to help the Iraqis build their capacity for governing, build their capacity for maintaining their own security. And those of us who were lucky enough to be on the right side of freedom's divide owe it to people like the Iraqis who are showing that they really do have aspirations for freedom to support them in any and every way that we can.
Whitehall talk about a relatively small withdrawal of British troops this year and a major one next year. Does that sound like common sense in accord with what's happening?
Well, we're reluctant to talk about timelines, but I do think that we're coming through different phases, and we're in a different phase now in which you will have an Iraqi government that is elected, that is working toward a constitution, and obviously the more quickly we can get Iraqi forces trained and ready, we can step back in our own roles and eventually bring our forces home, and that will be a very, very happy day. And so the training of these security forces is extremely important.
And how urgent is it to make sure that the Sunnis do take part in the political process, despite having in general not participated in the election, and that among other things they get some decent jobs in the government? How urgent is that?
Well, both of those are very urgent demands, and I've read the comments by innumerable Iraqi leaders now who say that they know that they need to broaden the base, that this government, which will write the Constitution, has to represent all Iraqis. We should support them in that effort.
And many people, including our own Chancellor, Gordon Brown, believe that poverty is one of the things that breeds terror. Would you agree that overcoming poverty is not only the right thing to do, but also has a security coefficient?
I think terrorism is more bred by the hopelessness of this lack of freedom, because if you look at many of the terrorists, these are actually middle-class people who fly airplanes into buildings on a fine September day. But it doesn't matter. Poverty is something that, because of our moral obligation, we need to deal with. And the President has been active in this regard. American official development assistance has increased by nearly 50% in this period of time. We've put in place a huge AIDS relief program of $15 billion over 5 years. So this is something that has been very much a part of the President's agenda.
As we approach the end of our time with your fantastic schedule, just a footnote about the fact that your journey from Mississippi has been a phenomenal one. And I wondered, as you look back over that life, what's the best advice you were ever given?
The best advice I was ever given growing up as a little girl in the South was really by my parents and the teachers around us. Our teachers in segregated Alabama were fantastic. And it was always that you don't make excuses, that you simply go and do it. They used to say, even if you find yourself in circumstances like Birmingham, it should not limit your horizons. And we believed it.
And that was the vital point.
That was the vital point.
And do you sometimes pinch yourself and not believe it?
Of course, I think anyone in this position would. But I've been very fortunate to serve at a time and serve a president who took on the challenge of September 11th, who has bold ideas about how we address the many pathologies of international politics, but from the perspective of someone who grew up in a segregated world where difference was accentuated. I think perhaps more than anything I understand the need of peoples to come together and not allow difference to be a license to kill.
Madam Secretary, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.